The Dallas Cowboys lost probably the ugliest game I've seen in 9 months. The Saints did whatever they wanted to the Cowboys' defenses. They put up 44 points. Prescott did play well, even though he threw 2 interceptions, although one was on Jalen Brooks, who slipped, but we'll get to him later. The Saints ran the ball outside against the Dallas Cowboys. It worked very well. It seemed to have worked the past few years. They averaged just under 5 yards a carry today on 39 rushes, and Derek Carr looked about as good as he did last week against the terrible Panthers defense. Gary Kubiak absolutely tore up Mike Zimmer's defense to shreds. It was motions, wide zones, and a whole lot of speed that killed the Cowboys defense, and the effort that the Cowboys showed today was pretty inexcusable. There were no adjustments made, and this defense looked exactly like it did in Green Bay 9 months ago. They were bullied for 4 quarters today. The linebackers were terrible. There was absolutely no pressure on Derek Carr, who is a completely different quarterback when you get pressure on him. The secondary let Olave and Shaheed run free all day. The tackling was piss poor, and there was nothing on this defense that resembled 1 week ago. I think the angry 0-2 Ravens see this game, and they've already got their game plan to beat the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have 0 rushing attack, all the talent in free agency and the draft, and Jerry Jones decided to bring back 29-year-old Ezekiel Elliott. There's no explosiveness in his game or in anybody in that running back room's game. I didn't really like the way Mike McCarthy called the game. There were too many first and second down runs. That would put us in third down and long, and Dak would have to be Superman for us to even have a chance in this game, and he was only human. However, Prescott did play well today. He looked poised and tried to get his team back in the game. Unfortunately, the wheels fell apart in the fourth, but the game was over. He was trying to force it, make something happen. And even more unfortunately, him and Lamb still cannot quite get back on the same page with what was a touchdown back in, I think, the second quarter. Dak Prescott threw a fade. Lamb ran a post. Unfortunate, but that's what happens when the owner refuses to pay his players at a reasonable time. That stuff happens. We do need to have a talk about this Cowboys offense. Once the Saints started doubling CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys offense was absolutely caged. Ferguson's absence obviously didn't help, but it's time for the Cowboys to start looking for a wide receiver 3. Either let Ryan Flournoy get some snaps or make a trade. Jalen Brooks was absolutely awful today. He missed a block on the end around, which could have been a touchdown. It was a 3-yard loss. Then he later slips and causes a Dak interception. He can't create separation. He can't block. He can't run routes. And Jalen Tolbert made a nice catch. And if you look at the back score, then you see he played a nice game. But his route running is bad. He can't create any separation. But I do at least respect the hustle on that Dak fumble to go recover it. The Cowboys do need a third option, and they need it quick. Ultimately, it is just one game, and the Cowboys are still 1-1. And all teams have bad games, right? Nobody's expected to go 17-0. It hasn't been done in 50 years, like Dak said in his press conference today. It's not about the Cowboys losing, though. If they let the inferior Saints hang around too long and lose by 3, then okay, that's one thing. That stuff happens. But this is the second time in a row the Cowboys were dismantled at home by an inferior team. They've given up 90 points in the last 2 home games they've played. It seems to happen every year to this Cowboys team. I can go back to 2016, since Dak was in the league. This Cowboys team messes around against bad teams, and they lose. I think that tells you the ceiling of this team. This is another good regular season team, and who knows what they do in January. I hope I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel like you can trust this Cowboys team to do anything, right? If you get too high on this Cowboys team, well, you're bound to get disappointed. If you get too low on this Cowboys team, they'll prove you wrong. Again, it's week 2. 1-1. Could be off worse. Could be like Carolina right now. Another home week next week to right your wrongs against an 0-2 Ravens team, an 0-2 talented Ravens team. So let's get back on track, beat Baltimore, get 2-1. Thank y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one.